there's me. This is my bad side. All right, JC, do we have anyone doing reflections? Oh, valid, okay. The floor is yours, sir.
How would you be volunteered? Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Let's bow for a moment of reflection. Our God, be present with us. Dwell in our hearts. With your light and spirit, guide us, our thoughts and all our actions, that we may model your word, that your power may be in us, and through you, we can be a blessing to others. Let your wisdom guide us in all that we think, do, and say. As Rotarians, we are directed by our four-way test that keeps us focused on what's best in all. Amen. If I can just read a quick quote from an awesome lady. Her name is Oprah. Every year brings you closer to expressing your whole and healed self. I celebrate that, honor it, hold it in reverence, and I'm grateful for every age I'm blessed to observe.
Go into pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation. The four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all of us? Meet and greet. Short one.
And then March and yes, I do. Oh, yes. I remember seeing you. Oh, yeah.
You guys are getting better at this. All right, everybody, we're gonna mention our guests and get moving. Sean, do you have
All
a guest
right.
list that you'd like to share with the group?
I do. We got a couple guests. Ryan, you got a couple with you. Do you want to introduce your guests? Let them say hello.
So I have a couple of guests today. First is our new finance director of DCLS. This is Stephanie Kazanjian. He came on board with us September 15th, so about 2 months. And my other guest is Mark Smith. He's our board member with DCLS. And it's your first term, started in 2024, 2023? 2023. Yeah, so, all right. Thank you both for coming.
Thank you. All right, Ellen, you have a guest?
Good afternoon. You'll be hearing from my guest shortly, but I'm going to allow her to say her own name. And you'll understand why in just a second.
Okay, so my full name is Priyadarshini Rajmohan. So you guys can call me Priya.
Did I miss anybody? All right, in the Zoom room. Let's see who we got in the Zoom room, if I can do this with one hand. There we go.
Oh, we do got some people in here.
We do got some people. Got a couple. Got a couple. Jeff Boswell, want to say hi?
Hi, everybody. Ted, I don't know what kind of soup they had.
I hear it was tomato.
Yeah, that was in the chat there, Mr. President. Ted was inquiring.
Tomato soup.
Good to see everybody.
We got Ted Reese. Ted, you want to say hello?
Hey, everybody. I'm definitely experiencing FOMO as everyone was meeting and greeting, and I hope the desserts are good today.
Excellent. And Samara?
Good afternoon. I'm sorry I couldn't make it in person. Looking forward to hearing the presentation today.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. And that is the Zoom room.
And shout out to the Zoom. I mean, that's a resource you can still use if you're traveling or if you just want to put it on while you're getting some work done. We used to do that all the time with James Good. I don't think I ever missed a meeting then, but I also was multitasking. So probably doesn't pass. If only 3 parts of the 4-way test were passed there, I think. So let's get right back into it with the clicker. All right. So some announcements, guys. We have a lot of cool stuff going up. JC, what's the next event we're having that you're excited about?
The wine mixer.
Oh my gosh, the wine mixer. Not as good as the Catalina one, but definitely a good one. All right, so SOs, spouses, friends, prospective Rotarians, this Wednesday, 5 to 7 at the Country Club of Harrisburg. Should be great. Now, note, bring wine with the intent of giving it to somebody else or putting it on a table so you can grab one. The club, rightfully charges a corking fee, and we don't want to be running that corking fee up to just get one glass of wine out of 30 bottles, right? So we're going to, you can be, there's a cash bar, we're picking up hors d'oeuvres and that sort of stuff. So bring a wine and then leave with a different one. It's going to be fun.
Bring the good stuff.
Yeah, bring the good stuff. Yeah, forget to uncork it. Yeah, make sure it's good. The next thing we have coming up, and this is going to be great. I want to see this whole room filled with some holiday spirit. I'm happy to present that the Hack Music Club is going to be coming here and performing live holiday hits. They're bringing their own instruments. I don't have to hook up any tech for them. It's going to be great. So you don't want to miss that. Also, cookie exchange, kind of like the wine exchange, but with cookies. So if you have a family recipe or you want to go to Giant or just a boutique place and pick them up, you don't want to make them yourself, bring them. We're going to provide everybody comes with like a to-go box, like a cardboard box. So you can pick a couple things of an assortment. We'd like you to bring some if you take some, but that should be good too. And also You can't not have an ugly sweater and terrible sock contest. If you want to wear both, you can enter both. So if you just want to do one or the other, you can. Okay. That's going to be great. And then that night, we're going to be doing Central PA Food Bank, our monthly, I think it's the second Monday every month we do that. We need at least 10 people, so please register on Club Runner. The registration is actually with the food bank itself. There's a link in Club Runner for that. And now for a very special presentation.
Up first.
Well, just click on that link.
Yeah, there's a link. Ah.
Maximize that. What? Love it.
Hey, great. Randy and I were here.
No.
We'll put that in the roundup so you can see it. There's some bloopers at the end. I just wanted to thank everyone that participated in that. That was kind of a spontaneous but very intentional effort that we had with that. I'm not putting Sean on the spot, but I think we'd like to try to maybe start an annual tradition with that. I don't know if you noticed the production quality of that. That's some high level stuff. Okay, we did that for a total budget of $0. It just took time, an iPhone 16 Pro, and borrowed mics from Higir. Carly.
Say that we can all share it on
Yes.
media.
So we have a short web link that takes you right to the video. We wanted to show it to you first. The board got to see it before you. But yeah, we want to use this as a tool. So if someone says, hey, what's your club like? You know, we tried to use locations that represented Harrisburg and the community around. Blanchfield was talking in front of the Rotary Cow, which is downtown in front of the Hilton. So yes, absolutely. We want you to share it with people, and we can try to update it on almost an annual basis. So if you're interested in being one of the participants, let us know. All right, so moving right along, I have a very a personal introduction by Dylan Price. For those of you who don't know, Dylan has been, it's official, right? I can say it's official? Officially been welcomed into the youth exchange program for next year. And he is coming up and has a little bit of a show to present to the club to introduce himself. So Dylan, so come on up. It's right here. Just
All right. I'm not moving this thing down. Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Dylan Price. Like we said before, I am a Rotary Youth Exchange student for the upcoming school year. And this is just a little presentation about myself to introduce myself to those of you who I haven't met yet. So, yeah. Sorry. It's all good. All right. But yeah, my name is Dylan Price, and this is just a get to know me presentation. So a little bit about me. That's my grandma in the top corner. I live with her right outside of Harrisburg, so I'm really local. In the center is my group of friends, and these are just like a little bit of pictures from my life. But yeah, I love to be involved in the community. I really like building positivity and just being an outstanding member of the people that I'm around. And this is just a fun one. If I were a color, I'd be the color yellow because it's a very bright color. And I don't know, I've been told by multiple people that it represents me. So I guess that's the color that I am. If I were an ice cream flavor, I would be birthday cake because it is colorful and it's just a nostalgic flavor. Like you gotta love birthday cake. It's a lot of sugar, but you know, it's good. If I were a season, I couldn't find a picture of summer, but I would be summer. I like to camp and I like to be outdoors. So I think that would be my season, you know. And animal, I would be a deer. I don't really know why, but my friends told me like that's an animal that represents me. So I guess I'd be a deer. But yeah, it's a fun one. Community involvement. I'm with the Big Brothers Big Sisters organization. First year violinist in my school symphonic orchestra, senior class historian. I try and get as involved as I can. So I love being a part of things or something like larger than myself. So yeah, this is just like a few things that I'm involved in, like volunteer at Philadelphia Folk Festival. It's really fun. Youth and government. These are just a few things that I like to be involved in. And that's my campaign poster over there. I was running for historian, so I was going for like retro vibe. So if you can kind of see, but yeah. And then that's, yeah. Oh, sorry, my bad. That is a poster for youth and government. I was campaigning for a position, so I really like sunset colors. You can kind of see it like in all of my stuff, but yeah, it really has the same vibe. These are just a few pictures from my life. The top corner is from Philadelphia Folk Fest. Also in the bottom right corner, that's a pin that I earned that I only make a few of them each year. So I was really honored to get one. But these are just like photos from my community and where I get involved in. The picture next to the pin, that's my school hosts Special Olympics. So we bring in students from all across the Pennsylvania area and we host it in our field for them to have like, activities and like small events for them to participate in. It's really fun. It's a really beautiful program. And I'm really big into neuroscience and working with people. And like a lot of that includes people with like who have mild disabilities. And it's a really rewarding activity that our school hosts. And I'm really happy to be a part of it. But this is a picture from my camp. Sorry, it's hard to point at like photos on the screen, but I like, as you can see, I love working with people and just spreading positivity. So yeah. And then these are a few of my hobbies. That's a mug that I made in my ceramics class. I was really proud of it. I also bake cookies. I heard you guys are doing a cookie event. So I make peanut butter chocolate chunk cookies and it's my favorite recipe ever. So yeah, that's my chemistry lab underneath the picture of violin. I love chemistry so much and I have a really cool teacher. So he makes it a lot of fun. And there's my violin in the center. I've been playing since I was in 3rd grade. So yeah, I really like it. The top picture in the middle, I started a crochet club in my school. So this is just like the first meeting and it was just a get to know you activity where we like threw a ball of yarn around to make like a little net to represent all the connections that we have to each other. It was really fun. I like to paint. I make a lot of sunsets, like I said earlier. I don't know why. I just find like the color pattern like really pretty. So I made a couple of paintings, and in the corner, like my friends and I, like we like to go hiking and like have like costume parties. That one was 80s themed, but there we like to hike in Mount Gretna, like visit all places around Pennsylvania because it is a really beautiful state, and I love nature. So yeah, this is a little bit about me. All right. Sorry, that might have been a little bit chaotic. I don't really do presentations a lot, but if you guys have any questions, I don't know if you have time to answer them, but I'd love to hear from you guys. So yeah. Oh.
Oh, sorry. So did you say what year school that you're currently in?
Yeah, I'm 17 years old. I'm currently a senior, and since I'm doing the youth exchange program, in Brazil, the school year, like it's a little bit different. So I'd still be 17 entering my year there. So I'd
Okay.
be a senior twice technically, but
I'm a
it'd be a
senior,
gap
I'm a
year for
senior
me.
twice too, and I'm only 57. Plans for the future.
Okay, my plans for the future, I really want to study like neuroscience and get into like the medical field, hopefully. So that's like the path I'm going down right now. But I love to keep my options open, like keep an open mind. And that's why like I get involved in like different things like youth and government. I'm not really into politics, but I like to keep my mind open, like explore different possibilities. So
Terrific.
yeah,
Great, thank you.
question. Thank you.
Did you choose Brazil or did it get chosen for you?
I chose Brazil, so we had to pick a list of our top 5 countries that we would like. So Brazil was my #1, and that one has a high chance of me getting it because they send a lot of outbound students. So there's a lot of open positions. So Brazil and Portugal are my top 2, but I would love to go to Brazil. Like it seems so beautiful to me. So I'd love to hear all about it.
What school do you attend?
Central Dauphin High School.
Dylan, I did text Mary Oliveira, and her husband Paulo is native to Brazil, and they would be delighted to connect with you.
It's awesome.
So,
I'd love to
yep,
hear from them.
one of our own members.
Thank you so much.
We have a lot in common, so I'm looking forward to meeting with you. History, what part of history do you like? You had that listed.
Well, I love like the 20th century. I'm in 20th century literature right now, so we're like going over like how like the decades sort of shape the modern era of literature. But I'm really big in the 20th century history, but I love learning about like all history. I don't really take a lot of history classes, but just like hearing it from other people and like other than my grandma, so she tells me all about like her life in the past. So it's just all of history is really interesting to me. But yeah, it's a good question.
So coming out of the United States education system, what recommendations would you make to improve it?
I feel like definitely like giving people more freedom to explore their paths and like have it be a lot less structured because a lot of people don't know what they want to do. I personally don't like really know what exactly I want to do. So I think giving people the freedom to explore that and having their own, like creating their own education, like for me, I like science. So allowing me to take more science classes and like get out of like classes that I don't really feel suit me. I think that'd be a good way to reshape it. Yeah.
What degree did you get and what title would you give with your varied interests? But it's so eclectic.
I have no idea. I mean, that's a good question. I really just like to explore different things. So I don't think that it has like one category because I like them all. So yeah, it's a good question though. I never really thought about that.
All right.
Thank you guys so much.
Ellen, would you no introduction from you? I didn't know if you had something printed out or not. I can do it. It's no big deal. Okay. Well, she's already introduced herself, but she's come prepared with content and would like to tell us a little bit about herself and her connection with our club. Priya, floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. I can get to. Once again, hello, everyone. Okay. It's not, okay. So,
There it is, yeah, you should be able to use that.
okay. So I'm Priyadashini Rajmohan. I'm a master's student at Harrisburg University. I'm doing my MS Analytics at HU. And I did my CEO internship at the Pennsylvania Turnpike Commission this summer. And now I'm a trainee, IT trainee at the Pennsylvania Turnpike Commission. After my internship, I just went back for my full-time position. Recently, I was awarded as one of the 20 in their 20s Harrisburg Young Professionals in Harrisburg area for 2024. They had a ceremony in the Harrisburg Hilton. I think it's November. It's recently. I forgot the date. And I did my PG diploma in women entrepreneurship. So before that, I did my bachelor's in political science. It's kind of like, I don't know, maybe we can say I'm exploring the path. I did my political science, then I did my women entrepreneurship. Now I'm doing my analytics. It's kind of, I'm just keeping my hand wherever I can and finding right spot or exploring the path which I want to get into. And it's kind of like academically, I was doing well to find a place, having that curiosity to know a lot more about what I can do, to know more about what are the things I don't know, to get the people's experience because they already experienced something. So I can get something from them to know more about that and also giving back to the community where I'm getting from. I really love that part. And I'm a road tractor back in India. So basically, how I got into road track is I was coming from a small town back in India, southern part of India called Tamil Nadu. I didn't have that much of English language. I couldn't explore more into that. Then when I got into my bachelor's, it was a government college. I didn't have to pay anything. Same wise, I didn't get that much of explore, which I thought I will get into my college life. Then I started exploring options, what I have in outside. Then I found a friend who was the member of Rotary Club called Rotary Club of Coimbatore Cosmopolitan. It's from Rotary International District 3201. And I was there for kind of like 2 to 3 years. Then I moved to Rotary Club of Coimbatore, Vadavalli. So it's kind of like I was in 2 Rotary clubs. I attended a lot of events, community service, and also in 2020 to 2021, I was the co-director of district priority projects. 21 to 22, I was the community service director in the Rotary Club of Coimbatore Cosmopolitan. In 22 to 23, I was the international service director. And now, since I moved to US, I couldn't kind of like attend much events, so I'm just kind of like member of the club over there. So this gave me a lot of exposure to find who am I, and professionally and also personally to meet people. It was hard at the first time when I met the people. As an international student, English is not my first language. So when I was attending events, it was a bit harder for me to find my place, to mingle with people, how I can make a connection. Then I started exploring options, what I had, and trying to involve in as much as events. It could be a community service, it could be a, I'm not bad, not good at, kind of like bad at fellowship, I can say. If I want to go to community service event, oh, come on, yeah, let's go. But if I want to go to kind of like fellowship events, okay, Yeah, let's try. So that kind of person. So more into community service, kind of like less into fellowship, I can say. So as much as event I attended, and also I love to see the people smile, and they're just coming and asking me that, oh, how you are doing that. Oh, it was good. Like we had an event called the Karpipom. It's connecting the school students to the college students to teach English. So at the end, they were telling that, oh, Akka, like it was a lot for me, and I learned a lot. Like thank you so much. Seeing their smile, it's like made me smile, and also it pushed me to work more to the community. And it's kind of like some of the pictures from my road track journey, I can see. I was awarded as one of the rising star of the month when I was the international service director. And also in the road track district 3201, they have a program kind of like district trainer designate. We can become a district trainer to go to the schools to teach, um, to take sessions. We could do that, but we have to pass a test to become a district trainer. So I was a district trainer designate, and they have a certain criteria. We have to go and take sessions, attend events, do MOC, in all those things. Once we pass that, they have their own exam. If we pass that, only we can become a district trainer, and we can officially take any road track sessions, road track attend, do MOC for Rotary events or road track events. And this, when I was joined into the Rotary Club of Kamathur Vadavalli. So these were the people from the different like community service members, and lot of professional members were there. And that one when I got into community service director, and this one when I was awarded as the district trainer designate with my president and the past president. Okay, so you, you heard about me and my road track journey. First of all, I want to thank everyone to sponsor me or give me a scholarship to attend the SWE conference. SWE is a Society of Women Engineers. It is one of the non-profit organization that advocates for women in engineering and technology. They have their yearly conference. This year, they had their conference in Chicago McCormick Place, and their theme is Together We Rise. More than 20,000 attendees for 3 days, full of women who was from engineering, technology. Just look at, like, when I saw those people at the first, what I'm looking at, it was kind of like overwhelming for me to see such kind of big crowded audience at the first. And another one thing, I lost myself in Chicago. It's my first visit to Chicago. I couldn't find the public transportation. Like, I don't know which one I want to take. I want to take this, I want to take that. Oh, it was like 3 to 4 days finding a different options, catching a subway train. If we catch a different time, we have to wait for kind of like another 10 to 15 minutes. But it was a great experience for my first visit to Chicago. And this is my first year in SWE, and also this is my first SWE conference. So that's why this much big. I took some lot of time to do all the preparations and everything. So when I talk about, I thought I want to attend this conference, then I reach a lot of people to help me financially as much as possible to support me to attend the conference. And these are the some conference pictures, day 1, day 2, and day 3. So they had their lot of keynote speakers, breakout sessions, and career fairs. And from that, I came to know a lot about personal finance, budgeting, investing, money management, some technological things, and all those kind of like financial aspects, meeting a lot of new people, making new sweet connections. After that, I got a good real connections. I can go back and ask them if I need any kind of help. And also they can come and ask me if they need any kind of help from me, in particular, my area of expert or area of interest. So it's kind of like a little expense list, I can say. I love to do math and I love to do track my finances. So in total for this trip, which is from October 23 to October 27, it costed me $757.43. And I got a scholarship from Rotary, which is $500. And also I got another $100 scholarship from SWE Philadelphia section. And my own savings amount, I put $157.43. It's kind of like gave me a lot of new experience to manage my money and also to figure out how I can attend that session and also how am I going to thrive in that new place for that 4 to 5 days. It was kind of like a lot. And thank you for the scholarship. It means a lot. Thank you everyone for your support. Thanks again.
Any questions? Thank you, Priya. Just as quick side note, I mean, today's been a great example of how this club is connected well past this state, well past this club, well past this district. We have someone going to Brazil. We have someone coming up through Harrisburg University, and it was an honor to help provide some funding for that. And the impact is very, very noticeable. So without further ado, our guest speaker, Mr. Ryan McCrory, the floor is yours, sir.
Sure, I know how to use this first. So quick intro for me. So born and raised in Alabama, spent 25 years in Seattle, spent the last 6 years here in central PA, the last 5 years being in Lititz before showing up here in Harrisburg in May. So that's a roundabout way of getting here. I'm a historian by training, a librarian by trade. And so this is actually kind of a mismatch of presentation. This is the beginning presentation for what is a 10-part lecture series on what are libraries, what have they been, what are they now, what can they be, that I've given in the past. So this is gonna be a run through of what is a library. So if we look at just the definition, it's a collection of things. Traditionally, we think of it as a collection of books, but it doesn't have to be. It can be a collection of music scores. It can be a collection of comic books. It can be a collection of teacups. It's a variety of things can be a library if it's a collection, but it is for use, and it's not something that's for sale. Use that kind of definition for libraries. In 1931, Ranganathan, who is a librarian in India, came up with 5 laws of library science. These are still taught today. These are considered the foundation of librarianship. So number 1, books are for use. This is key. If it's sitting there on a shelf not being used, it's doing no one any good. It's just taking up space. The next 2 are really important for the political climate right now and the push to ban books because you don't necessarily agree with that book. Every book has its reader, and every reader has their book. Libraries hold books for every member of their community. If that book isn't for you, leave it on the shelf. It's not for you. But it is there for somebody else in that community who's going to come into that library and pick it up when they need it. So it's extremely important that we recognize every reader their book and every book its reader. Libraries save the time of the reader. Don't stick it somewhere that no one's going to find it. We want to make sure that people find the information they need. Don't bury it, don't hide it, don't keep it difficult. And the most important one for me is a library is a growing organism. Libraries change. Every day, what libraries do is changing. So it's funny because a few weeks ago, I was at a talk and they asked, if someone hasn't been in a library in 20 years and they walked into a library, what would they be amazed at? And, you know, what we have to check out, ebooks, cake pans. Some places have fishing rod and tackle boxes to check out. It's amazing what libraries provide now. But more importantly is, I thought it was interesting that people asked that question as if what libraries were 20 years ago is what libraries have always been. People have a certain thing in their head about what they think a library is, and can be different for all of us. But the majority of people, probably in this room, if you said librarian, hair in a bun, cardigan sweater, glasses, older woman saying shh, that's still the idea of what a library is. It's a pretty recent phenomenon. Early libraries were about power and prestige. Libraries were held by churches, by government institutions, by community leaders, as a way of preserving and holding information that was important to them. Libraries, information is in fact power, and early libraries were about that. When you get to the Renaissance, and certainly when you get into the 19th century for America, they were financial assets. People purchased books, private citizens purchased books and held them because it's much the same way that people hold art, right? It was a financial asset to own these books. So nobles, landed families, business magnates. But libraries traditionally, up until probably the 1800s, were about power and prestige. They were not about public access. Wasn't until 1731, just a little ways down the road, Benjamin Franklin started the Library Company of Philadelphia. This is a small quote about the group that started it. 3 of the group were workers at the same print shop. Others included a glazier, a surveyor, a joiner, and a merchant's clerk. They were bound together by inquiring minds and a restless desire for self-improvement, especially true of the man who started it. What's interesting is it was a way for these men who got together to discuss events of the time, historical events, philosophical ideas, of having a shared set of information that they could all be discussing. It was a way to collectively have a touchstone, that you're not discussing something that you read over here that no one else had access to. Everyone in that group had access to the same information so that you were all on the same page. And that's what public libraries do today, is they provide a touchstone for everyone in the community to have access to something so that if I'm talking about it and you want to know more about it, you can go find it. I'm going to buzz through some of these because this is actually part of a segue into a bigger talk. But subscription libraries versus circulating libraries, think of it as Netflix versus Blockbuster, right? Subscription libraries, you paid, say, $5 a year and you had access to any book that was in the library. Circulating libraries were often run by booksellers, and it was a way of generating money and interest in their books that they were also selling. But you rented them because you went in, picked up a book and said, hey, I want to borrow this for a week, and you paid 2 cents, 5 cents, whatever it was. But they tended to focus on different areas, nonfiction or more scholarly works. The Blockbuster style was much more fiction and popular. So you begin to see this divide in libraries. Book tycoons, as I mentioned, in the 1800s, a lot of private citizens held these as financial assets. As they were reaching their retirement, their physical retirement, as they were approaching death, they decided that, you know what, it wasn't right for them to have all of this access, and they began to donate their large collections for public access. So the Newberry, the Morgan, Huntington in California, all of these libraries were donated by large business magnates who had owned these books and decided they wanted to open it up for everyone. Not quite everyone, right? These were still primarily urban, and they were primarily devoted to adults. 2 factors that happened around 1900 to 1920, the rise of bookmobiles and the importance of children's librarianship. So Annie Moore was a librarian. All of these are kind of her areas of the 4 respects that were due to children's librarianship and children's libraries. And here you see a bookmobile, but those 2 aspects really are what we think about as we think now about public libraries. Most people, if you say public library, most of them think about children's story time, children's literature. They don't think about it in the way that Benjamin Franklin and others would have thought about it. So these 2 are relatively recent. Like I said, 1900 and 1920 was the kind of the growth of these 2 aspects. Up to here, most of these things are positive advancements. But the 1930s and 1940s and World War II brought about book banning, book burning, censorship. Those existed well before the 1930s, but the 1930s and 40s and total war really brought it to the forefront that attacking the culture, attacking the shared culture of people was also a way of annihilating the people themselves. And it's important that we don't lose sight of the fact that it's not that far of a stretch to go from banning and burning books to banning and burning people. It's a small step, and it's really important that we focus on that. So in response to this, the ALA came up with the Library Bill of Rights in 1939, essentially saying that books and libraries should be available for all. They should not be censored or banned based on what their authors' viewpoints are. All viewpoints are somewhat valid if you can apply logic to them. But basically the meetings, meeting spaces, books, all of this should be available to all at public libraries. This has come into a lot of controversy lately because, well, should a library host a hate group, right? And some libraries have chosen not to. Some libraries have chosen to because they use this as their backup. So it's still up for debate. There's a lot there, but basically, I bring this up because people always talk about, libraries shouldn't be political. Libraries have always been political. What libraries shouldn't be is partisan. Libraries should not hold one party or this party's views only, but libraries are always political. Believing that people have access to information is a political viewpoint. Believing that access to information is a cornerstone of a functioning democracy is a political viewpoint. So libraries are political, we just shouldn't be partisan. It's one takeaway for you. Finally, we bring us up to current times, and I've been hearing since 1990s, essentially since that first big Netscape over there, for those of you that remember it. Internet came on the scene and libraries are going to disappear. Nobody needs libraries anymore. The third picture there is the very first Amazon Kindle. Boy, times have changed, but physical books are going to disappear. Everybody can own a book in their device. Alta Vista, which has gone the way of the dodo bird for search engines. Google was going to digitize everything. There you see a photo. I think that's page 57 from Moby Dick. Not that great of a scanning job there, but got somebody's hand instead. All of these things have come and threatened libraries, and yet libraries are still here. Because libraries aren't any of these things. Libraries aren't books. Libraries aren't, something that you can find online and just take the first 3 searches and hope that you got the right information. Libraries are about curiosity. Libraries are about exploration. I loved both talks today, talked about possibilities and talked about being curious, because that is in fact what libraries are. So all of these things have threatened libraries, and what's next? Who knows? We really don't know. There's no idea what libraries are going to be next. What I will say is that libraries will adapt, because that's what libraries do, and that's what libraries have done. The key to that is remaining sincerely and genuinely curious. Don't ask questions because you just need an entrance to espouse your viewpoint, right? A lot of people ask questions and stop listening to what the other person's saying. They're just waiting for their chance to respond. They ask a question as an entrance, right? I want you to think about asking questions and waiting for the response and really reflecting on what you hear. That's sincere and genuine curiosity. And the other one is being intellectually honest. So much of what we do nowadays involves standing our ground and not ceding a single inch to the other person's argument. If I allow that, you know what, some of what you say is true, somehow that means I've lost ground. No, it doesn't. It just means that you've adapted some of what you've heard into your worldview and accepted that other people's opinions and other people's ideas have some validity, right? Doing that, understanding that everybody comes from a certain perspective. My view of this room right now is very different from the view that Carly has. And the only way that I can get a really good sense of what this room fully entails is to ask Carly, hey, Carly, what do you see? Because Carly's going to tell me what's behind me that I can't see. I can ask Vlad what he sees because he's going to see some stuff that neither myself or Carly can see. So it's understanding that listening to what other people have to say allows us a much better view of the world. So these 3 books, and so there is some handouts on your sheet. These 3 books are books that I've read recently that are really key and instrumental in me kind of coming to a lot of terms with a lot of these things. Emergent Strategy really takes a look at iterative learning rather than linear. What It Takes to Heal looks at things much more on a spectrum and not so binary, right, wrong, innocent, guilty. It allows that there is some fluidity in those. And I never thought of it that way. Monica is someone I've known for probably 15 years now. She's a journalist out of Seattle. She's a first-generation American. Her parents are both Mexican immigrants. They were staunch Trump supporters. She is a dyed-in-the-wool liberal. And it's all about her family and how to genuinely ask questions to understand where each other is coming from. So she went out and she talked to some folks in Oregon where the whole spotted owl environmentalist groups, all of that was going on in the 80s and early 90s, to understand that, sit down with these people and they actually had more in common. And they both cared about the environment dearly. They just approached it differently, right? And so it's all about being genuine with your questions and being intellectually honest to have those conversations. And finally, this one was one I just picked up recently, and it gets at that idea of triangulating the truth and listening to different perspectives. What is the truth? The truth is the intersection of everyone's perspective if only we could know it, and we can't. We can't possibly know everyone's perspective, but what we can do is try to hear everyone's perspective to the best of our abilities. Great quote that I used to use when I taught history was, we can never know what the capital T truth is as historians. So do we just give up? No. You still ascribe to capital T truth, even if we can't get it perfect. It's what I tell my son. You're never going to be perfect. Don't worry, none of us are. Doesn't mean you stop trying to be. You still strive for that, even though you know it's not attainable. Same thing with truth. None of us in this room will ever know capital T, honest to God truth, right? We won't. But it doesn't mean we don't try to. It doesn't mean. Those are the things that I believe libraries are. We allow genuine curiosity for you to explore everything, and we allow you to be. I've been told I talk a lot. I've never talked so long that I outlasted the batteries. But anyway, but this is in fact, this is what we have to do. This is what libraries allow, is that you can go into a library and you can pick up a book and you can learn something from someone else's perspective that you may have never thought of before, and it allows you to think differently about your own experience. So that's my email, that's my phone. If you call that phone, you better be ready to leave a voicemail because I'm not picking it up. I just don't. Way too many telemarketers and vendors. But email, I will always respond to. So if you have any other questions, I'm happy to sit here and wait, even though I know we're over. So I can answer questions or you can email them to me. Excellent.
Give it up again for Ryan. What a great time to have that messaging. You already know what we're doing. Wednesday, wine, 16th, fun, and all the information that you need and your ability to register is exactly on the place we always talk about, right? Club Runner. It's actually really good at organizing that stuff. So thank you very much. Please remember to police your area. Speakers, guests, stay for some photos. And well, we'll see you again in 2024. But, you know, 2025 is right around the corner. Go forth and serve. Thank you.